That's what we'll talk about. I haven't uploaded anything on YouTube, so I figured I'll go live. Okay, the mic's working. So I guess, I'm going to leave this up for the replay too. I guess a lot of people got something to say about a truck driver making the oath to live in the truck like this, in the truck. It's dark in here right now. I just got this light on. A lot of people got something to say when a truck driver comes on here and it's like, I'm just going to live in the truck like I did. And some people be like, oh, you're a loser. Only losers do that kind of shit. It ain't going to last or whatever. What's up with it? Christy GS. Salute. I think it's going to last. It's crazy, bro. Like when I first started trucking and I was complaining about it, right? When I was a new booty, I was complaining about trucking and how it like takes over your life and the work-life balance and all that, right? I'm pretty sure that's what most truckers go through. It's just most truckers don't broadcast it here on YouTube, right? So they don't get the feedback from the public like I do. And I got the feedback from the public, and the public was telling me, oh, maybe you're not built for trucking because trucking is a lifestyle. This is a lifestyle. And if you can't stand the heat, get out the kitchen. Maybe you're not meant to be a truck driver. Only real truckers can live in their truck. Like, dude, I even had it like in my real life. I had a female who was a truck driver told me when I told her I was getting off the truck, she was like, "Oh, it's not for everyone." Man, because that was the same shit people were telling me on YouTube, right? But now that I done learned my lesson about going local, and I had people telling me that going local was a mistake. Mm. Cranberry juice, bro. Fire, bro. This morning I had some Dole orange juice. DOLE. I don't know how that shit still sells, dude. I bought it at the break room at my job after I got my paperwork. Cause I had, some breakfast right here in the truck, out the microwave. Right there. Laundry's on the bed, microwave's on the counter. So I put some oatmeal in the microwave and I wanted to like wash it down with some orange juice. And the Dole orange juice, DOLE brand orange juice, that shit, dude, for the past few years, it's just become rotten orange juice. It's like they're using rotten oranges. You even look at the orange juice on Dole orange juice. It looks like it's like a dark yellow. It doesn't even look all the way orange. It looks like that shit looks old and it tastes old. I took a sip because I've known this about Dole orange juice for a minute, right? Especially like if you're in like let's say, I don't know, like a hospital cafeteria or somewhere where there's a vending machine, right? And get you an air fryer. Is that too much power for a 1500 watt non-spine or whatever? It's not like a pure spine wave inverter. It's just a 1500 watt inverter, right? Standard shit. Obviously, when the truck's running, maybe. I just don't want to blow it because I use that for the CPAP machine, but I also use the plug-in on the wall for the CPAP machine too, right? But yeah, dude, the Dole orange juice was so nasty. Dole pineapple juice hits. I cook steak. Yeah, a lot of people be cooking. Well, you probably got a more powerful inverter than I do. I don't know, bro. Dole, that shit. I don't know. In trucking, there is many sectors within trucking. Everyone finds what works for them. For some, union is the end all be all. For others, owner operators the way. Local is the best. You get my point. Oh yeah. Everyone likes what they like. Look, I mean, I tried to go local. You feel me? Like, I guess I don't know at this point because I'm thinking like a long game type shit. Honestly, y'all gonna call me a simp like a mud. You guys are a simp right now. You know who influenced me to get back in the truck? Road Runanaya, the one that y'all say I be hating and simping on or whatever, right? That video I did on her, that shit's still popping. I got ladies in the comments. Like, get up out of here. Stop hating on her. You just hating on her because she's doing better than you. Yeah, right? It's so funny, dude. But real talk, like watching her and even like Slime Pack 392, they influenced me to get back in the truck because they remind me so much of me. Like when I started trucking, like having money, going shopping, right? Wearing nice clothes and shit, you know? Like I bought all this shit off of truck. Well, I bought this on local, you know, but my iPhones, like before I started trucking, I didn't have an iPhone. I had like some bootsy ass Samsung, not even a Samsung, like a Motorola or something. When I started living in my truck, I took mom to the Apple store. I was like, all right, mom, but no, to AT&T. We bought it at AT&T, right? I was like, all right, mom. I got her off of, she was on T-Mobile on her own account or an account with my sister. I was like, man, shut that down, man. Let's go to AT&T. Let's get some better service. AT&T is fucking horrible, right? Horrible service. But I was like, all right, let's go get us some phones. Now, you know, I had enough money to pay for the phone bill. When I got off the truck, I didn't have the money for the phone bill no more, right? And I was watching these vlogs, right? Like Roadrunner Naya and shit. I was like, man, look at this fool right here shopping, spending money, living in the truck, ain't got no bills. And then I was at home trying to get a local job, and pretty much no one's hiring besides the shitty jobs you gotta settle for, right? So I was like, man, the more and more I would watch those vlogs, you know what I'm saying? It just made me want to go live in the truck again until the point where uh you know, the opportunity came. I mean, I could have done it at any time. I was just bullshitting on local because I got this local job. You feel me? And then even though it wasn't a good paying job, it was like I was getting paid like a G a week, 1,100 a week. You know what I mean? The extra 300 or 400 bucks on that helps to go from 1,100 or 1,000 or like 900 to 13, 14, 1,500 a week, like what I'm getting now. It helps, dude, especially when you're living in the truck and there's no more commuting, right? Um, but yeah, I guess what it was when I went local, I just got used to doing local, even though I knew it sucked. I just kind of got used to it. And again, dude, um, like you know, I was dating broads here and there. Like, dude, every time I'm like a bum living on my mom's couch, that's when I have more of a social life. When I get busy and I'm running hard and I'm making a lot of money and I'm no longer a bum on my mom or my dad's couch, right? That's when I have no social life. There ain't no dating. It's just nothing. It's just grind time. It's just working, right? So, you know, I was living on the couch, um, and just living the local life, especially that job at UPS because not at UPS, it was the contractor out of the UPS building for the post office for post office freight, right? The one in San Leandro I did with the Penske trucks, that I had the weekends off. And then, you know, time went on and I was like, damn, bro, a year has gone and I've just been doing this local job. So I at least got one closer to where I was when I came into JB Hunt and I was living in the truck, but it just wasn't paying, that route wasn't paying that much. And I was on that for a year too. And then I wanted to make more money. So I got off of the truck and I started running the day cabs. And I made like a little bit more money, but not much, you know what I mean? Um, and then now that I got on this account and I'm like kind of OTR, but in California, right? Staying out all week, living in the truck, and even on my day off, just living in the truck, right? Um, I'm so happy I'm back in the truck. And I don't think it makes you a loser if you want to live in the truck, because another reason why I came to live in the truck is because honestly, man, the cost of living out here, I could have afforded, especially with this job, like I could have afforded the apartment that I was going to get. But then I was like, do I really want to do that though? Like, do I really want to just spend hella money on bills like that? I was like, not really. Like, I want to be like Roadrunner Naya and Slime Pack, and you know, Alex Nino has a house where he makes hella money on YouTube, right? God damn, bro, get on there, fucking bitch, get on there, right? I wanted to be like the YouTubers. I wanted to have simps and no bills, right? That's why I came back in the truck. Honestly, we don't have it too bad in trucking. Recent college grads can't find cushy white collar jobs anymore. I know, dude. The college grads, They got it bad, dude. They're losing their jobs. They're losing everything. And at the same time, I don't think they have it. Some of them probably do, but most of them, I bet most of the college grads, they wouldn't last out here on the road. They would be like me when I started, complaining and crying and shit, right? And then they would just quit. They wouldn't even go local. They would just quit, right? They wouldn't be sticking it out like that. But yeah, dude, it's crazy. It's crazy to think all these cats got they have a bunch of student debt. Most of it on top of that, yeah, they're getting laid off from their jobs. AI is replacing them first. One day AI is going to replace us. Don't think it's not going to hit us, right? You can't declare bankruptcy for those student loans. I know, bro, they're done. And thank God we don't have that. I got my permit on my own. I got the rest of my licensing. I got it done at CR England. Stood with them way past the contract. So think about that. Like, we got a 6-figure job that, I don't know, some of you guys might be carrying debt if you went to a private school. This is why I recommend going to a mega carrier, right? Because I get people on here telling me all the time that they got their CDL through like a program, through like some of these guys are parolees or whatever, and they got their CDL through a program that their probation officer or their parole officer hooked them up with, or just whatever. Like, and with that, they get like grants and shit, but they go to a private school and they might be left with some debt on it, and then they can't get a job. But if you go to a mega carrier, like, you're getting your license there and that's your job. So we got this job that makes us good money, and to where we could live in the truck, and we don't got no college debt. And we don't, unless if you get into a crazy accident or you do something crazy. Trucking school is only like $5K. That's nothing. Yeah, it's not that bad, right? I've seen some schools that wanted to charge like 10,000, right? Some private schools that were charging like 10 racks. I've seen it, But if you just get your permit and go to CR England, if you walk away from CR England, I think it's like 6 or 7 G's you get stuck with, right? But if you just stay there and work and get your experience like you should anyways, you get it for free, right? They pay it off after the first year. That's why I recommend guys. And yeah, it's crazy. Like, the college grads, dude, they're screwed. All these videos, like, dude, all these videos, I get it, right? These college grads, they got screwed over. They did the right thing, right? They went to college, got good grades, didn't get drunk and crash the car so they could get into the good graduate school, right? Like, they played it safe. Like, they did everything they were supposed to. Meanwhile, when I was growing up, I was breaking into your car. I was stealing shit out of Safeway, right? Like, after school, like, this was my route after school. Like, middle school, this was my route, right? My homie was like the school drug dealer. He was selling all the weed and shit. And they would go to Cal Berkeley. They would walk over to the campus, right? And then I would like stick around the school, whatever the hell I was doing, right? And then I'd tell them, all right, I'm gonna go meet up with y'all, right? Or they would just keep going to the campus down the street to the college, right? To UC Berkeley. And I'd pop into Safeway right there on Rose and Shattuck, right? And I go in there with the hoodie like this, right? This is a sweater, but like a hoodie, right? Looking like a straight up criminal, And I'd go, this is why they got all the alcohol bottles locked up, because of my criminal ass, right? I would go and I'd go steal a handle of like, what was it? It was the Smirnoff. This was before Ciroc, right? I'm old, bro. And I put the fifth right here. I put it right there and I walk out with it. And that was like my $5 on the blunt. You know what I mean? That was my fading. That was me showing up to the homies with something to put in. You know what I mean? Like, oh, back in the day it was, because my homie was the school drug dealer. So he was like, oh, what you guys got on the blunt? What you guys got on this ounce? Like, we could smoke, but you guys got to give me something so I can go re-up. That way we just don't smoke, and we don't got nothing to smoke after we smoke it all. So, okay, here's a bottle. Everyone gave him the lunch money or whatever. I gave him a whole bottle. Like, here you go. I didn't even drink. I would get a bottle and I'd probably take a sip of it and just let the homies have it, right? And that, I just wanted to smoke, right? Doing that fucking getting kicked out of every school I went to, right? And now I'm making more money than a lot of the college grads, and I have a job security that the college grads don't have. Just think about that. Just think about that, right? My dumb ass, my dumb, retarded, fuck up ass getting expelled from the Oakland School District, getting kicked out of Job Corps twice, getting expelled out of San Lorenzo. Well, I got kicked out. Well, I had to switch because I went to jail, right? Going to jail, going to juvenile hall on probation, just the ultimate fuck up. And I'm making more money than the kids that, you know, were doing what I guess I should have been doing, or maybe not, right? Right? I'm making more money than them, and we're not the ones on TikTok like, oh my God, guys, I got a Zoom call and I think it's my manager. I think they're gonna lay me off. Um, yeah, look, this has nothing to do with your performance. We're restructuring the company, and we really do appreciate everything that you've done, how you've been such a team player as a project manager and a team lead, but unfortunately we are going to have to eliminate your role. Your role is no longer needed, but it has nothing to do with your performance. And we are so sorry, and we are here to help you on the next path of your journey. But as of today, we will be deactivating your access to the platform, and we would appreciate it if you return in your key to the building. If not, you can return it in the mail, or either way your key is going to be reactivated or deactivated. So you are being let go at this time. Again, this has nothing to do with your performance. Right? This is someone, right? Dude, this is all you see on TikTok. Everyone getting laid off, right? They're getting laid off. Dude, like, remember before COVID, it was, oh, come with me to my job at Google in the New York Google office, right? I first but on the way to work, I stopped at Starbucks and I got my chai pumpkin spice latte. Right? And then around 8:30, now it's time to badge in Google building. And then like she goes to the fucking like the cereal bar and gets like a breakfast with her chai latte. And then, oh, and now it's 9 o'clock, and I think I think it's time to go do Pilates on the way to the office. And she's like in the building, so she stops in like the Google Pilates area before her shift starts, or while her shift starts, or while she's on shift, and she's doing Pilates at Google. And then like fucking 12 o'clock, and she's like, oh yeah, and it's 12 o'clock after lunch. I went to go get lunch with Brad, right? Google has such an amazing cafeteria. I got the salmon fillet with the Greek yogurt salad, you know? And then around 1:30 after lunch, that's when she finally does some work. And then it's like, oh yeah, and then at 5 o'clock, I am so exhausted. Right? And then like she plays pinball before she goes home on the New York subway, and then goes home and walks her dog, and like that's her life as a tech executive at Google. And now it's like all those motherfuckers are being laid off, right? Like Google is no longer like the adult daycare. They're just firing everyone, right? And those are the people that did life right. They were going to school, they were getting good grades, they were staying out of trouble, maybe a little trouble, but not too much, right? They went to college right out of high school, like not community college like a dumbass. Like, dude, if you don't go to university right out of school, you're kind of a fuck up. Like you're not the goody two shoe. Like the real smart kids, they went straight into a university right after school. They didn't do that community college bullshit. Like, no, dude, they were so smart that they got like scholarships and shit because they were their brain was so good, and their grades were so good that Harvard wanted them to go there, right? Those are the kids that are being laid off. Us truckers, we got job security. You know, this is why I'll be trying to tell people, like, yeah, you work a lot. It's a trade-off, yo. It's like we work a lot. We don't really have a social life. If you're making money in trucking, you don't really have much of a life. You do, you can, but it's something to where you're going to have to make time for it, right? Um, but during the week, especially if you're living in the truck, this is your life. You're living the trucker life, but at least you're employed. You're making good money. You don't got to worry about getting canned unless if you do something crazy like get into a horrible accident from, you know, going too fast for conditions and, you know, safety, like we all know, right? But yeah, so what you were saying, the commenter Judy, we got job security that who we were told to be by our teachers, by our parents. We got, the people that we were told to be, like we were told to go to college, get a business administrative degree, get a bachelor, a MBA, a BA, a doctorate, of whatever, right? We were told to do all that. Those people are fucked. They're getting laid off. They don't have a job, and they have hella college student loan debt on top of it. We have no debt. We make six figures. We make 100,000, right? If you're running hard like this, yeah, you're making 100 grand. You're living in the truck. You have job security. You got money. This is why I came back. Like watching Slime Pack and Roadrun Anaya and uh just a few other vloggers. Like there's this one dude that I follow on and off that runs up and down I-5. He's a flatbedder. He runs like a silver and black um long nose Peterbilt with the exhaust that go up. Sick ass truck, right? He's the owner operator, but he lives out of his truck. And I was like, man, dude. And just remembering how it was for me. That's why I'm back in the truck. So if you live in the truck, I don't think you're a loser. Um, it's an alternative lifestyle, right? Like I said, when I started trucking, everyone was saying, oh, you're not built for it. That's why you're complaining. You're complaining, right? It's not meant for everyone. It's obviously not meant for you, right? Oh, you're a steering wheel holder, right? Now that I'm back and I'm making the commitment to live in the truck full time for the rest of my trucking career, I'm just going to ride this boat out. You know what I mean? Right here at the same company. You know what I mean? Like now that I'm doing this, I'm getting shit for this. I'm getting people telling me, "Oh, you're not going to last. You're not going to be singing this tune in the next 3-4 months." Like, dude, I'm 4 years into this shit, bro. Like I went local, and that's what I'm back here because I tried to go local. And then I started looking at the cost of living and I started thinking about the long-term game plan. I was like, man, even if I do get a good local paying job, most of my money is going to go out in bills. Now, just imagine if, the money you spent on rent, a mortgage, bills, utilities, just the cost of living, just the wear and tear on your vehicle, commuting to work all the time to your local job, oil changes, brakes, maintenance, gas. You have a higher chance of getting into a car accident because you're driving your car to work every day, right? All the money you're spending on the cost of living, I want to invest all of that into the stock market and still be left over, right? Like if I could live off of so if you're making 100,000, you're really taking home like 65, 70 after tax. So even if you split that in half, right? Or even if you did it like 60-40, you lived on 60% of the income and the remaining 40% of whatever your salary is, you invest it. And so you're going to be able to live a comfortable life. You're not going to be living like a monk, like a hermit, like not doing nothing. You're going to have money to go out. You're going to have money to spend, and you're going to have an extra like 30,000 a year going into the stock market, making compound interest in your 401k or whatever retirement you got, or multiple retirements you got, right? I think you should have at least 2 or 3 accounts that you're investing into. And I want to do that for a 30-year span, 25 to 30-year span. And I did the calculations with ChatGPT because it's a different type of calculations that you have to calculate for compound interest. As a truck driver, if you're able to live in the truck, invest 30, especially if you could 40,000, but you could invest 25 to 30,000 easily if you're making 6 figures, right? Living in the truck. If you did that for 25 to 30 years, y'all could do the math on this with ChatGPT. On a salary of 100 grand after tax, it'd be around like 75, 76 is what you take home net. You split that up into 60-40. You live on 60%, invest the 40, 25 to 30 years, you'll have a net worth of around 8, 9, possibly $10 million when you retire. Now, if you go local, that 60-40, forget about it. 60% is going to be your living expenses. You're going to be living off of the 40 or the 30, probably 70% of your income is going to be spent on your living expenses, and you're not going to have much of a retirement at all. I mean, if you have a union job, yeah, I guess you can get a pension, but even that, bro, like that's nothing compared to if I could have a 8, 9, $10 million net worth from living in the truck when I retire. You know what I mean? Like for my whole career, and you adopt what trucking is, the trucking lifestyle, you're not a loser at all. You're not a loser. Do you think now? Just imagine someone like Roadrunner Ananias, Slime Pack 392, Alex Nino, Alex the trucking guy. Just imagine their lifestyle that you see on their channel without them being on camera. Are those people losers? Are you a loser if you got tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars invested or sitting in your bank account and in investments, but you're living in the truck? I don't think you're a loser at all. In fact, I think you're financially ahead of most people in America. I think at that point, you could even say that you're a part of the top 1% of America, but you live in the truck. You don't live in a mansion, you live in the truck. But if you're going off of your finances, you have more than $400 for an emergency. You have way more than $400 set away for an emergency. Most Americans cannot afford a $400 emergency. You got way more than that. And you got hella money in the stock market. You're going to retire a multimillionaire. It's worth it to live in the truck. It's worth it to use trucking for what it's used for. It's either that or you're going to be one of these people on TikTok complaining and ranting about how the country is unaffordable and how all your money goes to bills. Whether you talk about it or not, you're going to be living that, and that's where your money's going to be going out in bills. The money that's being spent on bills is what I want to invest. So when people tell me, oh, it's not going to work, it's not going to work, it is going to work. Because the alternative is literally me working a local job, spending 60 to 70% of my income on living locally in a house or an apartment. And then when I'm an old man and I retire, I'm not going to have shit. I'm not going to have nothing. I don't, because you got to think, bro, one day you're going to get old, but you're going to be in your 60s, your 70s. You're going to be in your 50s, 60s, your 70s. You know, it's going to happen. I mean, hopefully you live that long. And if you do, if you go local and you're spending all of your money on the cost of living, you're not going to have nothing. You'll be lucky to have what? 300, 400,000 invested and growing that would have grown in compound interest because that's all you could have afforded to invest out of your paycheck into your 401 or whatever. But meanwhile, me living in the truck, the loser living in the truck, when I retire in my 50s, 60s, 70s or whatever, I want to retire well before my 70s, right? In my 60s, I'll retire sometime around my 60s or late 50s, maybe even mid 50s if my portfolios were good enough. I'll be worth multi-millions, right? The key of it is to take care of your health when you're living in the truck. You want to take care of your health when you're living in the truck. That way you live to see that money, because you can live in the truck, and if you're not taking care of your health, you'll die before you live to see that. You won't live to see that money. You'll die. Truckers die of strokes and heart attacks all the time behind the wheel. Some of these crazy accidents that you see on these videos are from truckers passing away at the wheel, right? You got to take care of your health. Take care of your health, live in the truck. You're not a loser living in the truck. Let me see. Saving money. Are you single? Yeah, I'm single. What's your exit strategy? What I just said. My exit strategy is to live in the truck for my whole career. I want to do it right here with the same company since I'm already here and I'm making good money. And I want to live off 60% of my income. That way I have a decent life to live, right? And I'm not like too strict on myself financially. 30% is going to go into the stock market. By the time I retire, I'll be worth some millions. That's my exit strategy. You save money living in the truck? Oh yeah, you do. I don't live in the truck anymore, but it was worth it since it helped me buy my property. There you go. If I were to do something like that, I would buy a property that's turnkey, and then it would be worth it since I need it to be passive because I can't be present because I'm living in the truck. I'm a truck driver. I would find a real estate management company to pretty much run it for me, and I'll pay that bill and collect, even if it's just $25, because at least I still get all the tax write-offs and the equity with it, right? I wouldn't if I bought a property, I would still live in the truck. I wouldn't buy a property to live in the property. I don't got no kids or nothing. Like, what the fuck do I need a property for? Why do I need a whole ass house? I don't need a whole ass house. See, this is the thing. Like, this is what keeps people poor. People, they don't want to sacrifice. And hey, I get it. I get it, man. Like, I was gonna take over my mom's apartment when she moved into the spot where she's at now. Um, I was gonna turn that into a little bachelor pad, right? I was gonna invest in like really expensive furniture and shit, like one of those romantic beds with like the pillars and the see-through sheets and shit, with the expensive like whatever linens and all that. Put a little mini gym in the living room. All that just would have been money wasted. Yeah, you had some, you have your own spot and it's cool or whatever, but it's just wasted money. Because like I said, dude, when you get older and you retire, you're not going to have nothing, right? And that's scary. It's scary to think that if you don't take care of your health and of your wealth in retirement, you could be one of these old people that's just collecting Social Security and not worth anything, and you don't have a retirement. We all know people like that, and that could be you. So if you're a truck driver, dude, just imagine if I did this when I was 21. I was way too young, dumb, and immature to even drive a truck at 21. But dude, if I did this at 21, right now I'd be worth probably like 2 or 3 million. If I was living in the truck from 21, right? Better than paying someone else's mortgage via rent. Yeah, but I mean, if you have kids, I get it. But if you're single and it's just you living in the property that you bought, I think you're wasting your money. I mean, if it's like, if you bought a property out in the middle of nowhere, like in a really rural area, I'd sell it. I'd sell it. Honestly, I'd sell it. I guess if you want to turn it into a homestead and you got your own goals or whatever. But me, what I would do, I would buy a property in an area where families are moving into, where it could easily get rented out, right? Where there's a lot of renters and people looking to rent a house. I'd let a management company take care of it, and I'd still live on the road, collect the equity, the tax write-off that comes with being a homeowner. Even if after the expenses it's like a $20 profit, it's worth it. I wouldn't live, because if you live in the house, the house is no longer an asset. The house becomes a liability, right? Because it's about like it's all about cash flow. It's like, where is the cash flowing, right? Right now, the cash is flowing. For me, it's flowing 90% in my pocket. I have a car payment and insurance and a phone bill. So it's like 90. After that, it's just all going in my pocket, besides groceries. So let's say it's like 85% of it is going. I'm in 85% control of my cash flow right now. If I bought a house, I might as well just go local, because I'm paying the mortgage out of my pocket. I'm paying the bills out of my pocket. I'm paying the property taxes, the homeowner's insurance out of my pocket. I would rather buy the house, use it as an asset instead of a liability, rent it out, and it would be worth it for me to get a property management company to handle things that need to be handled when I'm away. And then I would keep it as an asset. I'd collect the tax write-off, the rent, the equity. I'd just live in the truck. I'd have someone else pay that mortgage. But hey, to each their own, you know what I mean? I mean, I don't know what your situation is, but that's what I would do with a property as a truck driver. If I buy a property, I'm going to use it as a pure asset. Ain't no way, dude. Living in the truck now with the freedom, with the financial freedom I have now, there is no way, dude. There is no way that you could get me to go and like pay bills and shit. You can't get me to do it. I would never do that shit. My goal is living in the truck. Is right now I have financial freedom. Money ain't a thing right now. I don't need to worry about money right now, and it's good. I make really good money. I live in the truck. I don't need to worry about money. I'm not broke anymore, right? And I got my own spot right here in the truck. It's not much, but it's my spot and it's my job. My commute is from right here to over there, which I got to go to bed pretty soon too. And when I retire, I still want to have I want to have the same financial freedom when I retire that I have right now. And that's why I'm living in the truck. That way I'll have one hell of a retirement to where when I retire and I'm no longer working, I still won't have to worry about money. If you start locking yourself down with liabilities, you know what I mean? A house, an apartment, bills, rent, you know what I mean? Utilities, like you start making more money and you go and get the newer flashy car rather than just staying with your little Toyota Corolla or your Toyota Camry that you got. Now you want to go get the Mustang. Now, since you're making $1,800 a week take home, now you got to go get that Cadillac. You got to go get the Suburban, the sports car. When you could just use the Toyota or no car at all. You don't even need a car. Dude, if yeah, like what you guys got to do or what I'm doing. Now you guys do what you want, but what I'm doing is I'm trying to just live my life to where I have nothing but assets. I have way more assets than liabilities. I'm done with locking myself down with bills and like negative money. The way I look at bills, it's like it's negative money. It's money that's going into the red. It's money that's going into the furnace. I want money coming my way. I want to collect money in the stock market from buying a property and having tenants in there, paying the rent, and I collect all the financial benefits from that. And I'm not living in there. They're paying the bills, right? And I have no bills. And when I retire, I'll be rich enough to not worry about bills, right? That's how I want to live my life. That's what I think you guys should use trucking for. Trucking can make you rich. You can definitely get rich in trucking. You could pretty much experience what it's like right away from the jump. You could experience financial freedom just by living in the truck. It's going to take some getting used to. But I think one reason, yeah, in the beginning it sucked. But even in the beginning, I mean, honestly, it wasn't the worst thing in the world. Like living in the truck was never really the problem. The problem was like not being able to go and do shit after work, right? Like not being able to go and kick it with the homies or hang out with some broad or go see family or whatever, just like being in the truck. Now it's like I'm thinking about the big picture. I'm thinking about like, dude, one day you're gonna get old and you're gonna have to retire. And you gotta sacrifice. Because me, I come from nothing. I come from the gutter. I come from the trenches. I come from fucking living with rats in the ceiling and you could hear them crawling in the wall, right? I come from fucking going outside to throw the trash and there's a dope fiend in my driveway going through my trash, trying to find the bottles and cans and shit, sorting out my trash, and I got to shoo him off and shit. And the motherfucker's like cussing me out as I'm shooing him off. Like the motherfucker felt entitled to go in my driveway, which is behind a gate, and go through my trash. And when I tell him to get the fuck out of my driveway, like he's threatening me. He's threatening me like he's the one that lives here. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of shit like, you know, coming outside and my dad's truck got broken into and they stole all the tools, their company tools, so, you know. Um, you know, coming outside And just yeah, dude, like I come from the gutter, bro. Like living on the street, and there's like a homeless encampment right up the block, right? Just so for me, and like again, like never really having my own. Like I had a house in Las Vegas. I had a mobile home house, lost it during the pandemic or whatever. So yeah, and before that, I was living on my own for a few years. I moved out when I was 24. So I was out for a few years. Now I also moved out when I was 18 for like 2 years in Sacramento too, right? So yeah, I know what it's like to live on my own or whatever. I know what it's like to pay bills. And when I came into trucking, I got to live in such a way to where I didn't have to pay bills and I was out on my own in my own spot with no roommates and I didn't have to pay bills. And in fact, this truck pays me, not the other way around. I don't pay the truck. The truck pays me because I'm a company driver. And if you work hard, it pays you pretty good. So this is like the first time that I was out on my own and it was for free and it pays me. And I was like, you know what? This is nice. Cause like I said, I come from nothing. So it's easier for me to like be okay with living in the truck. Like, dude, this is actually a step up. This is a big step up from living on mom's couch, from living on dad's couch. You're trying to sleep, and then like your fucking cousins come home with your sister and her homegirl, and they're drunk at like 3 in the morning, and you got to get up and go to work. And they come home and they're drunk and they're fucking with you because you're on the couch, not letting you sleep type shit, or they're just being loud, or the other family comes home from wherever and the dogs start going off and it wakes you up, dude. Like I come from nothing. I come from nothing. So this right here, dude, like I sleep way better in my truck than for sure going to sleep at any family member's house, right? Like I sleep way better in the truck. You know what I mean? Like this is a luxury right here. This is like a fucking penthouse suite for me. So for those of you saying like, "Oh, it's not going to last. It's not going to last." Maybe for you, maybe because you came from a better situation or whatever, just maybe it didn't work out for you guys or whatever, or you think this is too crazy of a thing to pull off for a whole career. For me, bro, this is cush right here. And if I ever do get sick of it because I live in the truck, I got more than enough money to go get me a nice hotel. Not just a hotel, but to go, like I could go in my Google app on Google Maps and not just stay in some shitty, grimy ass hotel for a night. No, I can go stay at like the Ritz Carlton for a night because I'm a truck driver collecting 13, 14, 1500 a week living in the truck. And you're not staying in the Ritz Carlton for every 34-hour reset, but no, dude, if you're one of those days, if you're just tired of you want to get off the truck and you don't want to go sleep on a family member's house, you got way more than enough money to go get a nice room at the Hilton. Go get yourself a nice little suite. Hell, even if it's just you, go get the one with the jacuzzi in it, right? You got enough money to do that. So it's definitely doable. You're not a loser. And in fact, you're living, especially these days with the cost of living, how everyone's struggling, dude. People can't even afford groceries anymore, dude. People are struggling out there. So for you being able to opt out and to just live in the truck, you're living better than most people, right? A lot of those people, people tell me, "Oh, it gets old living in the truck. It gets old." You know what gets old? Paying your bills, not being able to pay your bills, looking around, trying to find a place to rent, and you can't afford nothing, having to cough up 5, 6, $7,000 just to get into an apartment with the first month's rent, last month's rent, security deposit, application fee, pet fee, all these shit, right? Renter's insurance, let alone buying a house and then paying the bills to keep up with that shit. Every month you're just chasing your tail. You're like a hamster on a wheel, right? Rent, insurance, utility bills, electric bill, gas, water, sewer, groceries, your car, and then you're broke. That shit gets old. This, I get it. For some people, it got old for me when I started. But now that I've been in this shit, I've experienced local, and my experience with local, which wasn't a good experience, it was like when I was local, the longer I was on it, it was like you don't really know that you have a good thing until you don't have it no more. That's what it was going local for me. So I was like, Let me get back on the truck. I'm gonna read some of these. Then I gotta go. You're 33. I'm 33. I have a 2-bedroom condo. I could rent out the other room if I want to. Rent out the whole spot. If you don't got no kids, just rent out the whole thing. I would rent out the whole thing, dude. Just live in the truck. Don't you want to have just like hella money on you all the time and not worry about paying bills for that condo? Have someone else pay it? And then, dude, like, think about it. On your day off, if you get tired of staying in the truck, go stay in the Ritz-Carlton. Go stay in the Waldorf Astoria hotel. Go stay in a luxurious Airbnb or something. Do truckers ever run into trees off or off bridges on purpose? Um, I hit a tree one time in Oxnard when I started at CR England. It didn't do nothing to the trailer. It was so there's a Walmart in Oxnard, California, in the same parking lot or next to a UFC gym. It's a really hard dock to get into, right? Because it's like right in the middle of the parking lot. And so you got to like stop traffic and like be a dick about it because people don't stop for you because they're fucking retarded, you know? And then getting out of there, I made a right and I went down the street. And I wasn't supposed to. I was supposed to bend the block and get back on the main street. But because I was new, I didn't know what I was doing. I was going and all I heard was boom on the trailer. And I put on my hazards and I stopped literally in the lane because I had to see, right? And I got out and the trailer was fine. There wasn't even a scratch. Um, the tree was fine too. It just hit it, you know? So the way you avoid that is pre-trip. And sometimes pre-trip and trip planning means that when you're in the dock and if the Google Maps isn't doing you no justice, literally go walk around the property where you are. Go walk to the corners where you're gonna drive out of. Like sometimes if I'm in the dock and I'm at a new location, you know, if it's that serious, I'll go walk to the corner and I'll just look at the street and how tight it is. And you know, now that I have experience now, are there any trees or anything up there, any electrical wires dragging electrical lines or whatever that I could hit? Yeah, shit happens. You got to think about the worst scenario possible. When you're a truck driver, being a defensive truck driver is pretty much think of the worst shit that could happen, and then that's how you be a defensive truck driver, right? Just like think of the absolute worst fucking thing that could happen when you're a truck driver, and you'll be good, right? Every time you trip plan, think of like what's the worst thing that could happen? Because it could happen. When you retire, do you plan to rent or buy a property? When I retire, I want to be rich enough to buy something on the California coast, like probably like a little condo, right? Like my areas that I would really like to buy in is like Santa Barbara or Pismo Beach, something like that, you know. Uh, Venice, Venice is cool. Venice is kind of ghetto, but I like Venice. Um, I would live in Santa Monica. It's kind of touristy, but nah, probably not Santa Monica. I'd probably want to move to like, I don't know, Manhattan Beach or Carlsbad or Laguna or something like that. Like I want to have enough money to do that because I'll be old enough, so I'm not going to spend all my money, right? But I would like to buy like a condo that's like maybe 1.2 million or whatever on the coast. That's what I want to do when I retire, right? Yeah. That's why I'm living in the truck. So I could have a retirement like that. Can you show I can show you 50,000 cash right now, but I live in my truck, so I'm a loser. People are so gullible. Oh, I know, dude. Yeah. Well, here's the thing, okay? You never know who's watching you. I hope like Angelina Jolie from like Tomb Raider is watching me. That'd be pretty cool. But it's not. It's most likely some ex truck driver who has severe mental health issues that's probably on a lot of SSRIs and maybe even fentanyl that's watching this live stream. Those are the people that are most likely calling you a loser. So it's fine, you know. You don't got to worry about that. Or it might be someone who's just like an NPC, right? And the people are just programmed. People are programmed and they're like, you know what? I need to go to get a job so I could pay rent, so I could get an apartment. And people are literally programmed like that. We all are. It takes coming into an industry with like an alternative lifestyle. You know who else could probably do this? Like flight attendants. I bet you flight attendants could have a job to where they don't have to live somewhere, especially if it's a flight attendant that's always busy and, they live in hotels for free. Like their company puts them up in hotels. So they would only have to pay for a hotel for like 1 or 2 days off. And who knows, maybe they're collecting so many points that they damn near get it for free or at a discounted rate every week. If I was a flight attendant, which I wouldn't be a flight attendant, being a flight attendant, especially these days with all the plane crashes that's been going on, being a flight attendant is probably way more dangerous than being a truck driver. Dude, I don't know about flying anymore. It seems like the pilots and the whole airline industry have just gotten retarded. Like they've been hiring people that I don't know are getting high on the job or something. Because haven't we been seeing a lot of airplane crashes lately? And they said they tell you flying is safer than driving. Fuck no, hell no. Because there's only two ways to come down. If I get into a car accident, I could probably survive it, even if it's a fucked up car accident. I might not walk, but I'll probably survive it. You're not surviving a plane crash. You're gonna burn alive in a plane crash. I don't know about flying anymore. Like I got a sister that moved to New York. Ain't gonna see her. I'm not flying. Hell no. Until I see some improvements. Until it's like a UFO and it's not an airplane, I'm not flying. But yeah, I bet you airline pilots, flight attendants, they could probably live like how we do, not paying any rent. They'd probably have to get a hotel. But dude, we don't even need to get a hotel. We got it better than them. We make more money than flight attendants. And we could live in here for free, even on the day off. So yeah, you're not a loser. It's just people are so programmed into work, rent, bills, right? And once you have a job like trucking, you're able to opt out of that. And, it totally fucks with people's programming. So they call you a loser. All right. Let's see. Don't forget retirement homes are expensive. Brother, you can always sell the property or rent rooms out. With rent, you literally burning money. Yeah, but I'm not paying rent, you know? I'm not paying rent. That's why I'm living in the truck. Mortgage, rent, you're not in control of your cash flow. The bank owns you. The bank owns the house. You're paying rent to the bank, pretty much. You're paying it. You're paying it. Have someone else pay it. You live in the truck. If you don't have any kids or a wife, what are you doing? Why are you buying a house so you could live in it? Live in the truck. Rent that shit out. I think we should, as truck drivers who are single with no kids, we have the opportunity to be like that rich asshole, right? That like the general contractor just hates to go work at his house because he's just like this rich snobby asshole, that makes you wears booties when you because he doesn't even want you walking on his floor, you know, and his doorknob and his door is like custom made from Italy and shit. We have the opportunity to be maybe not that rich, but something like rich. We have the opportunity to be like the top 1%, to be doing way better than most people. So why would you go and do shit that most people are doing? Buying a house, that keeps you poor, dude. If you're the one who's paying the bills and the mortgage, you're burning your money. Have someone else do it. Like, yeah, spend money to buy the house. It's almost like buying a truck. If I was going to buy a truck, a tractor trailer, I wouldn't drive it. I would buy a truck and I would still work right here at my job. I would buy a truck and then I don't know, find a company or whatever to run my truck, to put a driver in it. and I'll pay the bills or whatever, or I'll just take a little bit of profit, whatever's left, right? And it'll be another asset. It'll be cash flow. I wouldn't buy a truck and become an owner operator because most owner operators are failing these days. No, I'm making good money. I'm making good, dependable, reliable money right here. I wouldn't buy a truck and become an owner operator and have all of this negative cash flow with owning a truck and running as an owner operator. You have so much negative cash flow. No, 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 no. I would buy a truck and like give it to someone else to manage. Put someone in the seat, right? Whatever the truck's making, pay the bills, take your cut, I'll take my cut. Just leave it at that. Leave it at that. When the truck gets too many miles on it, I'll sell it, do it again. Same thing with a house, right? If I buy a house, I'll buy the house, but someone else is going to live in it. Someone else is paying the bills. Someone else is managing it. Give me my cut. That's it. Give me my equity and my tax write-off and my little $20 profit. That's it. I don't want to see it. I just want to see the money. That's all. Wonder what real estate market will look like when retirement time comes. You never know. Do you invest money in the stock market on your own, or does your company do it for you? Meaning you use their benefits for it? Well, yeah. I mean, my job, they do a match. They do a percentage match. And after 1 year over here at JB Hunt, you're vested. So if I were to leave, you can keep the money, right? Um, I'm just about done paying off the debt. So once I'm done paying off my debt, I'm gonna probably add more money into the 401k. And yeah, no, as of right now, though, I do buy stocks on my own. I just invest in the Fidelity 500. And I mean, because I got this Fidelity account way back when I worked at Tesla, right? So I got some money in there, Um, I think that is like another 401k. I got to look at it, but to me, it just looks like a brokerage account, you know? But yeah, I invest in the Fidelity 500. I just got it. Like, you could literally just set it on an auto pay, and every month money just comes out of your bank account and it goes right into the fund, you know? And you don't even have to look at it. And I haven't looked at it in a while. What what I did was convert part of my house to a 1-bedroom ADU. The rent on the ADU covers my mortgage. I essentially live in my home for free. No, you don't. No, you don't. You'd be making way more money with the ADU and someone else renting out your home and you living in the truck, you know? I mean, if you want to live in your home, that's fine. But bro, like, some of you guys don't got kids. Like MGTOW, like, what? You're obviously single. You ain't getting no women talking about MGTOW. You're over there beating your shit, bro. Single. You might as well just live in the truck. You don't got no old lady, right? You don't got no old lady on the horizon. You're single. You don't got no kids. Why are you paying bills living in a house, dude? You got the house with the ADU. That's like double rent right there. Collect that shit and live in the truck. What are you doing? Where are you at tonight? I'm out here in Califas. That's where I'm at. By the time you retire, those condos on the beach will be worth way more than 1.5 million. You never know. They'll go up, but you never know, right? Does the truck have enough room to hang a green screen? Maybe. Like from there to there? Yeah. You'd have to like size it up. I quit night trucking on 2 days off during training. Go hit up Swift. Truckers retire on houseboats. But my condo for 150, I could sell it for at least 200K now. I don't know, bro. The market's, you got to check your market. A lot of people can't sell shit right now. Right now, it's a seller's market. I mean, it's a buyer's market, right? So people that are selling, dude, people who own homes right now, they're getting fucked up right now, right? because everything's going up. Can you shout out to Saya Freight Drivers? Shout out to Saya Freight Drivers. Oh, shout out to Saya. How often do you take home time, and how long? For how long? Uh, dude, I've been living on my mom's couch for like the past year and some change, and before that, it was my dad's couch, right? I had a room over there. That wasn't for like a full year. That was just for a few months. Yeah, I've been living in my mom's house for a while, so I haven't really been going home, right? I've been enjoying being back out on my own in my own spot. So like on my days off, I just been going out and doing my own thing and coming back to my truck. I'm enjoying my independence again, right? Like I actually enjoy this shit right now because I got my own spot again. Dude, so it feels so good to have your independence when you lose it and you're living with family and shit. It's the worst feeling in the world, right? I would live with family if my family was functional, but my family is way too dysfunctional to live with, right? Just doesn't work. You will have to make sure you like trucking before you could live in a truck. Well, yeah, I mean, also look at the big picture. Look at the big picture. Do the numbers up and ask yourself, would you like to retire a multimillionaire if you could do it? And if you could do it by living in the truck, why wouldn't you do it? I got to go, guys. Be sure to smash the like button on this video, subscribe to the channel. Um, I'll get back to vlogging. If I do, when I start vlogging again, it's just going to be like one video a week, one vlog a week. Cause dude, I'm out here grinding. I'm out here hustling right now. This account keeps me really busy. It keeps me running. It's the end of my week now, so I got some time. But yeah, once I start vlogging again, it's just going to be like a vlog a week because that's all I would have time for. Because you got to sit down and edit the shit, and that takes like an hour or two, right? You got to dedicate some time to that, and I just don't have time after work in the middle of my week to sit down and edit like a whole ass vlog like that, especially with the different cameras that I got and shit. So yeah, be sure to smash the like button on this video, subscribe to the channel. Just a cool conversation, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.